Man, that was an unexpected but huge win for Curtis Blaydes, knocking Chris Daukaus out in the beginning of the second round. Curtis Blaydes looked phenomenal. He looked better on the feet than I've ever seen him. Hands looked sharp, footwork was on point, and when you really think about it, you have to feel bad for Chris Daukaus because he trained countless hours against the most successful wrestler in heavyweight history, only to find out the guy's a better boxer too. First round was pretty competitive, both guys landing really good shots on each other, but it looked like Daukaus started to figure out what he had to do as the fight was going on. Early in the first round, toward the middle of it, he couldn't really find his range. He didn't even know when to attack and when not to attack, and you saw him oftentimes actually going into Curtis Blaydes' longer range head first with no defense. He was eating a lot of jabs because of it, he was getting intercepted because of it, until later in the round where he started to figure out, okay, I gotta attack second. I can't go in there first. This guy's faster than I thought he was. He's huge, he's a long reach, and I can't really find my entry in this. So I'm gonna wait for him to attack first, and then I'll attack right behind his punches and blitz him down using my hand speed. It was the footwork speed that was giving Curtis Blaydes an advantage when it came to distance. So Chris Daukaus' success was contingent upon following after Blaydes' attacks, not going first. Going first got him eating a bunch of jabs and a right cross that led up to the knockout. The fight was about the difference in boxing discipline. That was the main difference between these two guys. The forms were very different, and you saw Curtis Blaydes' punches have a lot sharper form than ever before. His hands looked amazing, and in that knockout sequence, it looked like a lot of people missed out on what actually happened there. A lot of people just saw both guys throw a punch, Blaydes just threw it down the middle, while Chris Daukaus was throwing a wild overhand, the straighter punch connected first, and that resulted in the knockout. But there was more to it. In the beginning of the second round, you saw Curtis Blaydes moving a lot. And not only moving, he started to switch stances, which is something he didn't really do. He switched into southpaw and then unnoticeably switched back into orthodox when Chris Daukaus thought he can get on the outside foot with that overhand. Remember, when two guys are in opposite stances, it's a fight of who can get on the outside foot usually, so they can line up their power hand on each other. You can get a little bit more wild at times when you do this, throwing overhands and stuff like that while digging in so deep on one side. When Chris Daukaus attempted to do this, thinking that Curtis Blaydes was still in southpaw, Chris Daukaus threw his overhand with a lot of power stepping on the outside foot. And this was perfect for Curtis Blaydes because he was an orthodox. He shoots down the right straight without any windup, any leverage, no telegraph at all, just right from the shoulder, and the collision that it caused was enough to drop Chris Daukaus. You don't need all the power in the world to hurt someone, you just need the right kind of connection. Curtis Blaydes' footwork was very quick in this fight. His hands looked amazing, form was phenomenal, but I really have to give a lot of credit to his footwork. I mean, there was one moment in the fight where they were both in orthodox, and Blaydes quickly stepped off on a wide angle, almost like he was moving straight to the left, and in the meantime, notice how he deflects Daukaus' right hand. Just in case Daukaus wants to intercept him with an overhand or a right hook or something like that, he traps it and deflects it, and that angle that he took off allows him to shoot a right hand over the shoulder with perfect connection on the temple. This is the kind of angle he will not be able to get if he's standing right in front of Chris Daukaus. That is something we don't see Curtis Blaydes do that often. Or what about this moment? When I saw this, I knew there was a clear difference in the striking ability between these two guys, specifically boxing. Chris Daukaus pivots and steps off to his left side right as Curtis Blaydes attempts to swipe away Daukaus' right hand again, as he is also trying to step off on his left angle. Now they both connect with a jab on each other, but you see the difference in reach, and it really helps Curtis Blaydes. Look how far in his hand goes. While Daukaus only touches Blaydes' face, that's as far as his jab was able to go. And here is when Curtis Blaydes' footwork takes part. He's able to fade off and step away on that left angle, pulling and slipping on Daukaus' overextended right straight. He gets so off balance he has to improvise, switches it to the southpaw stance because of all that leverage, and he just goes to attacking. A wild left hook, and he gets right in front of Curtis Blaydes. Blaydes with that pull counter of a right straight, and then he pulls away from Daukaus' follow-up right hook. Amazing moment by Curtis Blaydes, man. And that's ultimately the end of the breakdown. This was a kind of win that Curtis Blaydes needed going further in the rankings because he never really gets these kind of finishes. He never really gets these kind of knockouts. He didn't even shoot a takedown in the fight. Didn't even fake a takedown in the fight. Just showed to be the pure better striker and just a better fighter. But the issue with him fighting for an interim title or something is that Daukaus was ranked number 9. It was a good win, but he didn't get it over like a top 5 opponent. His last win is over Rosenstrike, which I believe is a more credible win. This one he had a better performance. So I don't see him fighting for an interim title, unfortunately, because 3 fights ago he got knocked out by Derek Lewis. So here's what can happen. Francis Ngannou is out of commission. Ciryl Gane, Stipe Miocic, and Tai Tuivasa are all without an opponent. Those are the guys that are above Curtis Blaydes. So there's a potential that he can fight one of those guys. He could fight Ciryl Gane, which is something he was calling for, but I believe Ciryl Gane might be the guy that might fight for the interim title. The thing that makes the most sense, rankings-wise and where they're at, is if Gane fights Stipe for the interim title. Regarding Stipe deserves a title shot, and Ciryl Gane had a very, very close controversial fight with Francis Ngannou. That leaves Tai Tuivasa. You could do Curtis Blaydes versus Tai Tuivasa, and if he goes and beats Tuivasa, which I believe he should be able to, then he gets a title shot. But then there's Tom Aspinall, and unfortunately, Aspinall didn't break into the top 5. He's number 6 in the rankings. That could be another fight for Blaydes, but if I was Curtis Blaydes or if I was in his camp, I would target Tai Tuivasa. I would not be targeting Tom Aspinall because number 1, Aspinall's a harder fight, he's a better fighter than Tuivasa, and he's lower in the rankings. If John Jones comes into the picture, now we don't really know what's going to happen because who's going to fight John Jones? Jones is for sure going to fight for an interim title, and it would be up against either Gane or Stipe, most likely Stipe. And if that's going to happen, if John Jones fights Stipe for the interim title, then you do Curtis Blaydes versus Ciryl Gane, and you put together Tai Tuivasa versus Tom Aspinall. The heavyweight division is honestly getting very fun, and that is surprising. There's a lot of top guys here now that everybody wants to see get put up against each other. Gane, Stipe, Tuivasa, Blaydes, Aspinall, while Francis Ngannou is recovering from his injury. That's a good lineup of fighters that you could put up against each other in any kind of order. So leave in the comments below, how would you guys matchmake the top of that heavyweight division right now? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.